Hello and welcome to SAFC Fan TV Extra Time. I'm loving that new intro. It sounds really good, really
Good
good.
work we did.
Yes, we've got to big ourselves up, haven't we? We've got to big ourselves
Aye.
up. So, brand new feature on the show. We're going to try this out to see how it goes. We are going to try and look at any questions that are left from the Thursday night live shows on here. Any extra questions you've got to stick in, and we'll try and read these out on this podcast. But it will also be available on the YouTube channel as well, so members won't be missing out. So on tonight's podcast, we've got Conrad. Conrad, how are you doing, and how's your week going? Even though it's only Monday, how's your week going?
It's all right. It was a long weekend. It was my son's second birthday on Saturday, so we've had a weekend of just constant soft plays and parties and cakes and all sorts of rubbish like that. But it's been good fun, and I know what you mean. I took the day off today just for that reason, so I haven't really started my working week yet. We'll start it tomorrow, and I'll let you know how it's going during the week. All right.
So it's like 2 bank holidays in a row for you. That's nice to know.
Yeah. You got to save your holidays somewhere, man.
What is it? And I'm hoping, have you been on the trampolines as well yourself on the soft play? I'm guessing hope you've been on your
I think they've got a bit of a weight limit, to be honest, mate. So I don't know if they have FB size on them. Do you know what I mean? So no, he's not into the trampoline and stuff. He likes to be on solid ground, thankfully. So I don't have to do out like that. He likes his He likes his slides and he likes his football. So I haven't quite leaned him into the red and white yet, but I'm keeping an eye that he doesn't sort of get involved with the black and whites too much. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of keeping an eye.
You've got to be careful. Don't inflict it on too you. That's the thing. That's the thing.
How are you doing anyway? Been a long Monday.
It's always the same. Monday blues in it from the weekend off. It's playing catch up from what's happened over the weekend, but not too bad.
And there was no football to look for. There was no football to go with either.
Well, only that farce the Ukraine game over the weekend, wasn't it? It was an absolute shocking one. It wasn't the best watch, so if you call it football. But looking forward to the Scotland game. I think it is on is it Tuesday night, I think? But,
yes, we're playing Scotland tomorrow. I forgot about that. I know. I thought you meant the women's game for a second at the Sol in a few weeks' time. The women are playing up at the Stadium Light as well. But I forgot we were playing there tomorrow night. It's some sort of memorial game, isn't it? Is it the time they came down to us and knocked the goalpost over or something like that, anniversary or whatever it is we're doing?
It'll not be a friendly against them, that's for certain. But on the women's game, I'm going to the women's game as well, so hopefully it'll be a decent game, something to report back on.
Nice.
So we're going to have a look at the season so far, Conrad. So what have you been impressed with so far? I know we only 4 or 5 weeks into the season, but what's kind of impressed you in the season so far?
It's a tough one, really, because I sort of was, as you know from our group chat, I was the one that was like, it's promotion guaranteed this year. We carry on from last year, and I made the stupid mistake of realising that we don't have Diallo and Stewart anymore, and it was just one of those things. I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then I think Ipswich happened, and it was a bit of like whoa, hang on, what happened here? And then we lost to Preston. Did we lose to somebody else, or did we draw the next game after that?
We won the cup as well, didn't we? Got beat on penalties.
Oh, yeah. So I was sitting there going, oh, Christ, it's all going wrong. There was the rumours of Mowbray wasn't happy and we weren't getting the right sort of people in. Then it was the rumours that all our best players were going, and it just seemed to sort of, like every year we have a problem, don't we? No matter what it is at Sunderland, something goes wrong every year. So last year we were all thought, right, solid season in Championship. Alex Neil's gone. You're like, what? Hang on, what? And then the year before that, it was, all right, Lee Johnson, usual sort of, we're not there. But, we lost 6-0 to Bolton. Right, great. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah. Club's in turmoil. You sacked the manager again. And then the year before that, it was Parky and Lee. There's always something.
Yeah.
We've never got a quiet year. And it just felt like, all right, we started early, lads. We're in August. Maybe we'll have a doubler. And then recently, it just seems to have, I don't want to say clicked, because I still think we're performing at like a 7 out of 10. But we're getting results in now. So the Rotherham was a hard-fought win, I think. And then did we draw with Coventry, which I think is a pretty good point when you look at it on what they're capable of. I know they've lost their best 2 players as well, but it's a place we've never been getting good results at the Rico. So, and then we go and absolutely trounce Southampton, and it seems to be sort of going, all right, well, if we can keep this going, then this is going to be all right. We've had a rocky start, but we'll just put that down to teething issues with squad and changes and what have you. It's going all right. I don't want to sort of jinx it and be like, Philly and up by Easter and all that. We're not far off. So, we'll keep the pace and we'll just see how we get on.
Yeah, I think me included. I think I was probably one of the bedwetters, as the term goes. Chucking the toy out the pram a little bit when we weren't signing any players. But
I was that on deadline day, the day before. I think you remember in our group we were talking to Owen, the exiled Mackham, for those who know him, and he was telling us what had been going on. Terry had been telling us as well, and we were a bit like, I think that was when all of a sudden my happy sort of demeanour with the squad completely changed. Like, they're right. This is shocking. What's going on here? They're doing nout. And then the next day I was like, oh, hang on. We're all right. Yeah, Stuart's gone, but, we're fine. Granted, if we'd have got trounced by Southampton, it might have gone the other way. But because we battered Southampton as well, it was sort of like, all right, everything's fine now. We're the greatest team there ever was. So, it was sort of like, it did that. And then we held on to Roberts and we held on to Clark, and you sort of go, all right. And there's the rumours of Diallo in January, and you're sitting there going, oh, okay, right, well, we're all right. So, yes, I do like the bedwetters, the toys. I think that was all of us that one before, and they're like, yeah, Stuart's going, Roberts is going, Clark's going. You're like, oh,
hang on a minute, what's happening here? What's happening here? I think, like I say, everybody...
Ekwar's gone, Neil's gone.
It's the roller coaster of just supporting something. That's just the way it is. You're 1 minute down the next, but... I think we were kind of egged on by Owen. Likes to have his opinion.
I love Owen. He's so funny. I love watching his stuff, and it's brilliant.
But just on Roberts, obviously there's talk today of apparently a new contract being offered. I think it's not any improvement to his wages, but I think it's an improved terms, maybe along the length. So I think that's still in discussions, but that's probably got to be a good sign if they're offering him a new contract at the age he's at.
How old is he?
27. That's
all right. Oh God, he's ancient compared to our squad.
He's ancient.
Get him a Zimmer frame, man.
Get him out.
Yeah, that's a weird one, considering that within about a week ago there was talks he was on his way out, and we were a bit like, yeah, it's fine, I don't need him, and it's this, and then we seem to have done a bit of a U-turn on him and gone, no, we'll keep him about. So I like Patrick. I think he's a good player. He infuriates me sometimes with how much he tries to sort of take people on, but it worked well with Diallo, and now I'm just wanting to see it work well on its own, and sort of see if
he likes to beat players and rather than have a shot or put a cross in your gambit and beat them again, which drives you around the bend. But when it comes up,
speaking of beating them again, though, Jewis and Bennett can do that all day long. He did two people and then did one for no reason at all.
just for the crack. Just for the crack.
I can't believe I was watching the game. Armchair supporter these days because I can't get to the games. And I remember seeing the first one and thinking, "Whoa, geez, who's this lad?" And then did another one, and I was nearly on the floor laughing. And then when he did the third one and nearly lost the ball, it was like I keeled over, dying. Woke up, opened my eyes just to see him float this perfect back post cross for Rig to score as well. It was just like, all right, we're full on taking the piss now, right? Okay, fair enough.
And then he went and scored the equaliser in the 5-5 draft under 23s, didn't he? During the week. So
I'm surprised he didn't help the women's team to a win the other day as well. He's just popping up everywhere at the minute.
Well, Andy played. Didn't he play at St James's Park? Didn't he, for Costa Rica? Didn't he, during the week? I'm sure they were playing.
Oh yes, they were playing Saudi Arabia versus Costa Rica. I
thought he was going to knock one in there, but I don't think he did.
I mean, if ever international fans want to travel, it's to Newcastle for a game between Saudi Arabia and Costa Rica. I can't think of many better destinations that they would have thought, do you know what? I need this in my passport. This is the stamp I need.
It was definitely on my bucket list as well. I was gutted I couldn't get there.
It was gutted I didn't go.
But also, being impressed, we've got to be impressed with, some of the signings. Bellingham started off like a house on fire, just being nominated for Player of the Month. Just won Player of the Month, in fact. So, his start couldn't have got off to any better, really, could it? He's been absolutely fantastic.
The only thing I think he missed was that chance against Ipswich in the first game before they took the lead against us. That's the only thing I think he's done wrong so far. He seems to be more box to box than Jude, I think. But I'll admit fully, I haven't watched a lot of Jude Bellingham apart from at the World Cup and that. But he seems to be back defending a lot more than I thought he would be, and that seems to really sit well with Neil and Ekwar as well. That if we're getting a bit overrun in the midfield, he just turns up out of nowhere and sweeps up the loose ball, and it's a good thing. But then when we have to start actually playing a striker, is that going to be something that we'll have to lose out on that extra man in midfield? Yeah, like what are we going to do there?
I mean, if you look at that midfield, I mean, who would you take out if to put a striker in there? You're going to have to leave out one of Bellingham, Dak, Neil, or Ekwar, and at the moment,
you don't leave any of them, do you?
You know, I'm guessing it will probably be Bradley Dak would be the one, but even so, or does he change formation? Does he, you know,
or do you keep Joe, like let him have a game off every now and again? Because again, he's only 17, like, which is disgusting. Like I'm 33 and he's 17. Like, and I've never felt old, and now I'm sitting there going, "He's a child, man."
Try being 48. That's feeling old.
I'm still sitting there now going, yeah, I could play. I'm just waiting for Gareth to give us a ring and I'll be on the plane to wherever England play next. You know,
just waiting for the call up.
They've got my number. They know where I am.
Well, this is it.
I mean, if Harry Maguire can get a game without playing, I don't see why I'm not that far down on the list.
This is it, innit? I think he has to be playing when he's 60. He not be playing club football, but just roll him out for the internationals, wouldn't they, now and again?
Yeah. So why not?
Why not?
It's like a special attraction match for Harry Maguire.
What about not impressed? And so, what's kind of not impressed you? I think for me, off the pitch at the start of the season, we all had a bit of a rant like we normally do on the channel, where we looked at the strip situation and the marketing department, which in the season ticket fiasco, which was an absolute farce, wasn't it? So that for me was what I haven't been impressed with, the kind of off the pitch stuff. And like I say, we were a little bit whingy about the transfer deadline of how that was panning out, but that's it. That thankfully, hopefully sorted itself. But what's your thoughts on the off the pitch stuff?
It's not been great. Thankfully, I haven't had to be involved in any of it so far because I haven't had I think the one ticket I got was for the Mallorca game, and that was actually easy. Apart from with the people who couldn't get in on time or something at that game, they said that's what led to the money off at the next game and getting early type thing. Thankfully, I was in already at that point, so it didn't really matter. But it seems to have been. I mean, I'm sorry, Philly, for lack of a better expression, it's been a bit of a shit show so far. the whole thing. It just seems like no one just got a hold of it and went, right, this is what we're going to do, and this is when we're going to have it by. I mean, Medvin was bad, but at least his ideas were on time when he did them. And I'm not saying I want him back at all, and I don't, never again. But when he had an idea, we actually did it. It might have been terrible or stupid, like the Walsall tickets for when you wanted to go to Portsmouth in the Checkatrade final. It was just daft stuff, but it was on time. Like he said, this is what we're going to do, and we did it. So, like, what's the lesser of two evils in that? But then, I mean, the shirt thing was just a joke. I mean, this is coming from someone, by the way, for our audio listeners, I'm wearing, what was it? It's 0708, our third shirt.
Logo.
Yeah, they're still on, just a bit faded at the top. That one. But like, this is now what I class as retro, and we wore it for one game against Crystal Palace. Like that was it. The shirts, that was just an absolute joke. I remember when they used to ask people, like, what type of away shirt do you want, and put out like concepts of them and sort of go, there you go, what do you think? And then it just seems like now, because we're not in the Premier League, we don't get a sort of bespoke kit. They're just like, all right, well, that'll do. You're red and white, so we'll just change the colours of it. But it's exactly the same as somebody else's,
Well, that's it. Either they're a carbon copy of other team strips, just with different badge on logos.
I'm sure ours is. Our home shirt is just Brighton's. Like, if they've got the blue bar across the top and then the blue and white stripes, we just got white bar across the top with red and white stripes. It's just, there's no difference to it at all. And then I don't mind the away one. The pink one's fine. But I like the pink and purple one from a few years back. Like, and then that third one they've just brought out, which is just a glorified training shirt. Like, they literally had it there. It was just not for me. I mean, what did you think of it all? Like, do you even like the kits at the minute, and do you think they're actually even operating properly?
Well, if I'm honest, I got my home strip from China, so that's just what I thought of the off the pitch stuff. Actually, I bought the home and the away strip from China. It was something like 20 quid for the two of them. Waited 3 or 4 weeks, and the quality is just the same. apart from the badge is a bit different, you know what I mean? But
I'm sure that wherever they make these, it's just 9 go to the club and 1 go to this bloke. And that they're exactly the same. There's no difference. My mate rocks up with different Arsenal ones, and it's just like, there's no difference to it at all. It's the exact same kit. So someone's just clearly lifting one out of the sort of like the factory line. Just going, that's for Dave, 14 quid back in England.
But I suppose it just shows you how much the club are making off the shirt. I mean, I remember years ago when I used to go and queue outside of the club shop for a strip. You used to, get up there early hours of the morning queuing for the strip, and it was class, but they've took all of that away. And like you say, there's not enough on order, then you just kind of get one and people get sick. And I think that the amount of Chinese tops I've seen at the matches is unbelievable, because they've got like their logos and stuff on.
It's such a money maker as well. I don't like, for a club that is quite famously at the minute, we're not the richest and money seems to be an issue. Like, you'd sort of think, get your shit together. Like, you would have like you say, people would queue up, spend hundreds of pounds for theirs, the kids, the nan and the grands, whatever. Like, just the nan and the gran is the same person now. Just everybody in their family, but they just don't bother anymore. I mean, they are a bit of a rip-off at 70 quid, and they're no better than what they were. At least this was sewn on the badge, It's not like it's a sticker that we just put on.
It comes off in the washer and stuff.
Yeah, but like you say, I think I went to one of the kit launches once. It was the Inter Milan away shirt, the blue and black sort of stripes, and I went and did that, and they had I'm sure they had entertainment on outside the ground as well, while they were
big event.
Yeah, and it was like, well, yeah, come down and get your shirt. They had literally the whole shop was just blue and black, apart from a corner where you could get other stuff. And it's like, now they're like, oh, we might sell out. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah,
that's what you want. And then even if you knock February, knock them down to half price, you're still going to make money on them, because, like you say, the ones from China, what, they're 14 quid. So if they're not actually making a lot of money off them, if they say it costs 10 quid to make them, you've got 7 quid, you've got 7 in the amount when you buy one. So I don't know. And then the ticket thing was, I think, was it Emma was telling us that they were making older people queue up just because they want a physical. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all right with the digital ones, and I've used it on my phone. It was fine, but give them the option again. What was wrong with asking people and not just saying, do you know what? We're going to do this in 3 years' time. If you want a card now, you can get it, and we'll just keep it active for you. But in 3 years' time, we're going to try and go all digital. And just organise it first. Don't just turn up and do it.
That's it. But do not make you think who's actually, running the show at the top. Just suddenly an idea pops in their head. All right, well, we'll do for next season. Now, stuff the supporters and how inconvenient it would be for them. We'll just do this just to piss everybody off. Well,
I genuinely think they forgot we didn't have any new kits. I genuinely think, because what was it? It was August, wasn't it? And they were all out or something. I'm sure it was the first week they were playing. Or
I think we were the last club in the EFL to actually launch the kit, wasn't it? I think it was something like that.
I'm genuinely sure they forgot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there should be the shirts for 2 years, what Brentford do, just to sort of help people out, and then you get it next year, because then you can keep it at full price if you want, and then the next year you can take a bit off of it and try and get some sales in. But and even if you change the away one every year, or you alternate them so they change every 2 years but a year apart from each other, it's just daft. I'm sure it's probably some financial reason as to why, and it makes business sense, but it just seems like it's poorly run, and that's why everyone gets a bit, like you said, bedwetting when it comes to transfers. If you can't even get your shirts in line and you can't even get your tickets sorted, how am I meant to believe that you're conducting business properly and making us move forward?
Just ringing someone and say, do you fancy a game for someone at the weekend? Do you fancy signing for us? Now you thought into it.
I know, it's crazy to think that supposedly a multi-million-pound company is it'll be fine.
Yeah,
that's why my wife has a go at me, because I'm just that'll be fine kind of attitude. And imagine if I had hundreds of thousands Sunderland fans going, what do you mean it's all right?
It doesn't matter if you're over 60, we're not bothered about you. You can just stop coming. Just stop coming.
Stop going. That's it. Stay at home.
That's what's happened. I mean, having said that, there's quite a few that I have seen at the match with the white cards that just rocked up on the day and said they wanted one, and they were given one. which is there should have been a consultation out, like you say, for the following season. It would have been a lot smoother. But
just going back, because I know we sort of talked about it and we moved on next point about Roberts. How do you think Barr did on the right hand side?
Actually, I've been Barr's probably biggest critic, on my videos. I agree from every week because I just think he hasn't got it and he's just been poor. But having said that, on Saturday, he probably surprised me on Saturday. I thought he had a hell of a game. And if that's the potential he's got, then I'll hold my hands and I'll apologise, because if he can show that kind of level week in, week out, then I think we've got a decent player. And bear in mind that he's not really a winger. He was actually brought to the club as a centre mid, wasn't he? But if he can play there, and it's good to know that if Roberts is out, obviously Roberts will be straight back in when he's fit again. But we have got somebody there who can play there if need be. I thought he had a really good game on Saturday, but like I say, I've been griefing him.
It seemed to work because, I mean, Southampton were incredibly high press. I mean, they had a corner with inside like 15 seconds, and it seemed to work. And we seemed to know, because we were like, right, everyone back apart from Barr, you sit on that halfway line. We're going to smash this out to you every single time. And I remember, was it last season a couple of times he played like a false nine? He can hold the ball up quite well. And I think he's probably a bit more level-headed, unlike Roberts, where he thinks, do you know what, I'll pass this off and then I'll move, where Roberts might go, I'll take him on while I'm here. I've got no one else in front of me. Like, I might be wrong on that one, but I think Roberts would think it's one-on-one, I'll have a go. Whereas Barr's thinking, get the support in, we'll go. He reminded me a bit, do you remember when we used to play Gooch on the right-hand side? Not as a right back, but as an actual sort of like right-sider that, like, he actually seemed to put a decent cross in. He could take people on. He wasn't the best at it, but he tried. He seemed to be a bit better than that, and that would explain this to maybe why they got rid of Gooch as well. Because they're like, well, you're not even second choice to Roberts. Barr's going to be second choice there, and if you're not playing through the middle, which now we've got like 5 centre mids if you count Dak and Job and Pritchard, as well as Neil and Ekwa, and Corey Evans. I keep forgetting still there as well, isn't he? So
and Matete has to come back.
And you're sort of sitting there going, right, well, we've got all them. Barr, you're not going to play in the middle. Like, and Clark's on the left. Do we have anyone else out on the left? I suppose he could. And Sirkin can play out there. Oh yeah, he's got to play Maradona reincarnated.
But Gooch wouldn't have even gotten in it right back, because if Hume's injured, we've got Pembele in there now as well. So
and that's not even including that other lad that came in. The one who's it's like Adiyombi or something like that. His name is.
Al Shishi, is that him?
I mean, that's not like what I said, but sure, yeah.
It's probably totally wrong until we find out the exact.
Until I hear Frankie Francis reading it out, I won't know what it actually sounds like, you know.
That's someone else's gospel line. Al Shishi or some along them lines. Just call him Adil. It's his first name. Adil.
Adil. Right, I was about to say Adele. That's a bit of a weird one.
Well, yeah, I might have even said that wrong. It might be Adele. He is French, so who knows?
He is French.
Who knows? But so quickly, obviously, didn't want to spoil Thursday's show too much, but a quick look ahead to QPR. You know, it's always a place where recently we seem to have gone down there and done quite well. Actually, they've got our old full in charge. What do you mean?
It was a door, thankfully.
It wasn't you. That's
I'll give it a lean next time, just to try and me.
Obviously, they've got our old friend Gareth Ainsworth in charge as well, so things didn't start quite well for them. But do you fancy our chances going down there?
They picked up a win against, but I mean, I say against Borough like it's impressive this season. It's not. They seem to sort of smash and grab Borough a bit. It was a screamer and then like another little sort of goalmouth scramble, I think, while a friend of mine at work, she supports Borough, and she said they've got this new striker in, and he's a bit like Altidore, that he's just he gets in the right positions, he's sort of always there, but he just cannot score, and it's like a running joke now, I think, and it's only been 4 games as well. I mean, this is that jinx thing where you sort of go, I think we'll do all right, and I don't rate QPR that much, but I don't want to do that. So no, it'll be a tight game, just for my own sake, and I don't want to put. I don't know what, sod it, 3-0. We'll absolutely smash them.
Another 5-0.
It'll be a difficult game compared to what the Southampton one was, because I don't think they'll be as open. They're not going to be charging us down and sort of going, right, lads, let's absolutely chase him. I think they're going to be quite like, let's build on our result and be a bit cagey. So you could see a draw, but I fancy our quality up top to see us through. Oh, one extra thing.
Yeah.
I was gutted Hamir didn't score against Southampton. Was it a couple of minutes from the end when he went through and I was like, here you go, lad. Simple finish. Just slot it in. Don't hit it too hard. Don't smash it straight at the keeper like you did. Like, just
everything what you didn't do.
Yeah, we know when we just talked about Altidore, don't do that. Like,
that's the thing that I was saying about him. I just need to get that goal, ASAP. And our Will Griggs a little bit of a different situation, but the longer it drags on and he misses chances like that, the Will Grigg thing starts coming.
I think the Grigg thing came to light because it was an attitude thing as well as a thing. This lad's really young and should be wanting to try and prove himself. And I think we talked to our younger players a bit of like if you do well here, you could easily stepping stone us and move on. So I don't think we've got any problem with that at the moment, as long as we get some kickback from it or we progress with them. But yeah, it's one of them that's like this is your chance now. Like, you come to us, this is that step you need if you sort of think, actually, I'm a bit better than Sunderland, or I will be, but I'll use them and get them better so I can get better. And it's not looking good.
It would have been the end of a perfect day if he'd gotten that. Would have been the end of a perfect day.
I was almost more gutted that he didn't score than happy I was that Chris Rigg did, because I'm like, I know you're mint, like you're going to be an absolute star. Like, just don't sack us off in a year or two time when you can leave because you're only 17 or whatever. And
then get to the mags, which would just be a proper kick in the bollocks, wouldn't it?
Although, I mean, I don't know quite who supports what, but I think his dad's quite famously
he is
a fan. But he was at the match in full tears the other day on that All Access video that we have, and I'm sitting there going like if it was me and my lad played for Newcastle, I wouldn't care if as long as he was, buy me a house in the future. Like, like, it wouldn't bother. I'll take their money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got no problem with that. But no, I don't know. You don't want him to just go to Newcastle just for the sake of saying I played for Newcastle. Like, and I think some of his family sports, and you just want him to be a footballer. And look at the likes of Dan Neil now. He's like first name almost on the team sheet, and you've got Jordan Henderson in the past who came straight through and then went on to
Jordan Pickford, another one like that.
I still love Jordan Pickford. He's my favourite goalie ever. Just that bit at Sheffield United. I know this isn't any good for the audio listeners, but when he did that double save at the end and he just turned around to the fans and just went, just like, just such a knob. But like, this is absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm all for it, Jordan.
He can be a bit of a shit house, like, which is classed as a part of his personality.
Sometimes it comes back to bite him, but he never sort of seems to be like, oh right, that sorry about that. He's just like, it can happen, like, and he does it again next time. But I still love Jordan Pickford.
Aye, he's a good one. He's a good one. But like on the QPR, so we're saying.
Oh, sorry. Yes, QPR.
Gareth Ainsworth, I don't think we've played against him since the playoff final. I might be wrong, but I'm sure it's the first time we've played against. So he's going to be out for revenge, isn't he, for beating Wickham in the playoff final?
He came in quite late at the end of last season, didn't he? So I'm assuming that we haven't played him against since. But I mean, he was one of those that a couple of years before was being touted as being our manager, and
that never happened.
I know. Well, I mean, we've had some shockers. I mean, Phil Parkinson's now at Wrexham, and you've got Johnson down at Fleetwood, and Jack Ross is at Newcastle's under 10s or whatever it is now that he does down there. And Neil's at Stoke, and I don't know if they're doing well or not. I don't really look out for them, but QPR. No, he's probably not. But I mean, he also sacked off Wickham when arguably he was in almost a better position to do well with them, and just sort of went, my job is done. So I don't know if he'll hold a grudge against us. We might hold a grudge against him, but you know what happens when we hold grudges against people? They tend to turn up and turn us over. Look at the Alex Neil one. If we'd have just gone into that game against Stoke, just going, any other game, just play it like normal. But I think the fans dictated a lot of how the game was supposed to go, and it just completely, didn't go well, did it?
What do
you think of QPR? Do you think we'll win? Do you think we'll do all right?
Like I say, it's a place where we always in recent years we've done all right down there, but I think we didn't beat them. I think it wasn't last year where Alex Anthony Patterson pulled off a penalty save. I think he dived one way and he saved it with his legs, didn't he? I think that will beat them down there last year. So, you know, I'm optimistic.
Sorry, I'm doing it.
From Saturday's performance, I'm optimistic we'll go down there and get a result. I think, but, you know, we never know if we can beat that level of performance. And I'm hoping Rosian might be in the squad if he's fit and he's been training this week, and now he's in the country, isn't he? So he might be in the squad.
Yeah.
And some of these
we beat them 3-0. Apparently, that said on my phone. 3-0 at their place last time.
3-0. I think Jack Clark scored.
I'm sure the year before we beat them in the Carabao Cup on penalties when we were in League One. And I'm sure unfortunately, the time before that, we probably lost to them in the Championship, but that's because we lost to everybody that season in the Championship. So, well done them. I always just remember the Sessegnon one where he mugged off Paddy Kenny when he was scoring. And was that the one where Bentner scored in the first half and he ran over to the corner flag and you could see someone celebrating in the background. He had his dog with him as well, just bouncing up and down. Just weird stuff, man. But you're all there for it. But no, I think we'll do all right, like you say. I'm going to go out 2-0. I'll go 2-0.
Nice one. I'm going to go 2-1.
You have to stick with that on Thursday, though. I'm not having this rubbish where you sort of change your mind and sort of hedge your bets.
No, I'll say that on Thursday as well. I know I know we've kept 2 back-to-back clean sheets, but if we can do it 3 games in a row, I'm not too sure. But we'll wait to see. But I think we'll win. But, anything else to add?
No, just I hope you enjoyed it. This is our first sort of foray into a podcast sort of style. I know we're going to upload it to YouTube as well, so there's not missing out. But let us know if you liked it, if you want something different next time, and we'll have a look into it. We'll have other people on. I'm sure at some point we'll have Philly, Terry will be on, Jack, Jacob. We'll maybe even have some guests who aren't on the show. I think we're talking to. That's one thing I wanted to mention. Yes, you knew exactly where I was going with it. So I was chatting to Kyle Don, I think his channel's called, on there the other day, and I was having a proper laugh with him the way he mugged off Eddie Howe when he was doing his high fives for the Great North run. I think he just said Sunderland till I die and just missed his hand out the way. I'm sure there was a video of someone giving him the finger, and I'm sure there was a video of someone else going, "Hope you get relegated," as he ran past him. It was just and I know that everyone's like, "Oh," they're all like, "Oh, it's weird that," and it's like, it's funny, like just have a laugh. It could have been like Alex Ferguson would have been up there. Half of them would have still done the same thing. It's just because it's your manager, that's why we're doing it.
Exactly, and if it had been Tony Moore, it would have been exactly the same other way around. But I remember watching. I was watching it on Sunday morning. I was just waiting for giving it all the high fives. I was waiting to see a Sunderland fan run past and see what the reaction would be. But,
it was quality, it's
hilarious. So well done, Kyle. Well done, Kyle.
So Kyle might be another one that we're chatting to and see if he wants to come on. I know he talked about doing a Thursday night, but we'll see what we can do, and then see if we can get some others on. Why not? It's good fun.
See whatever you stick in the comments how you found the first one, and we'll only improve as we go on. But hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the live show on Thursday.
See you later.
See you later.